Well, our Washington correspondent is keeping her ear to the ground for us stateside as these regional tensions simmer in Eastern Europe. We can cross now to the US capital and speak to Ketevan Gorgestani. Ketevan, we had a brief listen there to some White House reaction, but what exactly is the US claiming the Russians are doing or preparing?
Well, for the Biden administration, it's pretty simple. The Russians are basically laying the groundwork to have a pretext to invade Ukraine. And according to the Americans, the Russians are doing that in two main ways. One is something that we heard Jen Psaki touch up on in that soundbite that you just played, which is these operatives, these Russian operatives who have been pre-positioned in order to carry out these false flag operations. What would be these operations? Where potentially they could be some sort of attacks on Russian interest or Russian forces or even Russian speakers in eastern Ukraine, attacks that would make it seem like it's the Ukrainians attacking the Russians and therefore giving the Russians a reason to retaliate, if you will. And so that is one of the main issues that the Americans are putting forward. The other thing that they're warning about is the question of misinformation. The White House is saying that they're seeing misinformation both on state media and on social media having increased over the past month, really focusing on sort of a human rights violation in Ukraine, that maybe the West is involved somehow in trying to destabilize Russia, and all of that is working towards, one, giving a pretext to the Russians to invade Ukraine, and two, to somehow prepare the Russian population to be on Russia's side if something were to happen. This, of course, according to the Americans, is completely within Russia's playbook as they've seen in the past.
Ketevan, where does all this leave the possibility of diplomacy, which the Biden administration has, of course, long been pushing for?
Well, Jake Sullivan, the national security advisor, on Thursday said that he was under no illusions about what Russia was planning, that possible military operations from the Russians on that Ukrainian border were still highly likely. That said, everyone in the Biden administration that has been speaking in the past 48 hours has been insisting that the path towards diplomacy is still possible, that is something that they are still working for. They are still open to having talks with the Russians. That said, they're also insisting that the choice is Russia's to make. Choose diplomacy and we can move forward towards a more peaceful Eastern Europe, or choose to invade Ukraine and then you will suffer very dire economic, financial, technological consequences, because we, along with our allies, are ready to do that if you so choose. But they are really insisting that Russia has to make that decision, and Russia alone will choose the future of what is going to happen between Russia as well as the US and its allies.
Ketevan Gorgestani, our correspondent in Washington, thank you very much.